Hey everyone, it's me Wasabi and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be checking out the G-Wolves HTX Mini 8K. G-Wolves sent this over for me to try and share my thoughts with you guys. First, here's what you get inside the box. A set of G-Wolves grip tapes, an instruction manual, dot spacers, 2 sponge pads that you use if you need to replace the battery, 2 dust protection stickers, 2 sets of full-size skates, and a generous set of dot skates, the 8K pulling rate receiver and the USB-C cable, an additional USB-C charging cable, the HTX Mini 8K, strap attachments for the mouse case, and that is pretty much all that's included inside the box. You know, this isn't actually a new release. The HTX Mini first came out back in 2024, and late last year G-Wolves updated it with the POR 3950 sensor. Before that, it used the POR 3395, so other than the sensor update, it's essentially the same mouse. It is a very tiny, extremely lightweight design that's clearly made for a specific type of user. But I wanted to cover this one because I covered the newer HTX Ultra 8K, and right away I'll say this, I personally prefer the Ultra 8K much more. But this mouse isn't bad at all, so let's walk through it. The HTX Mini 8K is available for $159. On the website, the listed weight is 26.9 grams and my unit came in at 28.5 grams with the default skates on. This is the translucent grey colorway, and like with many new G-Wolves mice, the surface has the signature hexagon pattern. It's not something that I enjoy very much, but for an enthusiast-focused product, I am okay with some unique design choices. The bottom of the mouse is aggressively cut out to save as much weight as possible without compromising too much of the structural strength. And another very characteristic G-Wolves trait here is the forward sensor position. For how small and hollow this mouse looks, the build quality is genuinely impressive. The main clicks, side buttons, and scroll wheel all feel better assembled than some full-size mice that I tried, and despite its ridiculous weight, the mouse feels very solid in the hand. There are no holes on the top shell, and first impressions are very strong. And yes, the sides and hump will flex if you squeeze hard enough, but for me, I don't def grip my mice, so this is something that I don't feel in real-time use. I'd say this one feels stronger than some mice that don't even have cutouts. Like most G-Wolves mice, there is no grippy coating here, it's just bare plastic with the hexagon indentations. When my hands are dry, it feels slippery, and when my hands are sweaty, it still feels slippery. So for most people, I would recommend using grip tape. The upside of having no coating is durability and easy cleaning. You know, you don't have to baby it the way you would with coated mice that shine or wear down over time. Now before we continue with the shape and how it feels from my experience, to put things into perspective, my hand size is 17.5 by 9. This is a true mini mouse, significantly smaller than mainstream options like the Pulsar X2 Crazy Light. Like with most HTX mice, it has a low profile shape plus well-defined comfort grooves for your index and middle fingers. The waist of this mouse is extremely narrow, creating a strong hourglass shape. For fingertip grip users, this can work, but it does feel very thin at the natural grip point. Even for my hand size, the grip width feels slim. For wider and larger hands, this may feel way too narrow. Now, because of this compact, low-profile design, my thumb is almost always touching the side buttons, and because this mouse is so light, pressing those side buttons can cause noticeable mouse movement. For the hump and rear support, only users with very small hands will get meaningful support here. Really, this mouse is tiny, and HTX mice in general are designed with a low profile philosophy. Now for grip styles, this shape clearly favors claw and claw-leaning fingertip grips. For me, using a pure fingertip grip style, pinching the waist feels narrow and a little unstable. But when I switch to the claw or aggressive claw grip, it feels a lot more stable and usable for me, even with minimal palm contact. When I use this mouse, I find myself alternating between the claw and fingertip grip style depending on the situation. Overall, the HTX Mini delivers a compact, low-profile feel, and it gives you excellent control for the fingertip grip style and a very aggressive claw grip. Its thin waist and short rear keeps it feeling fast, but reduces stability and thumb space for broader hands. So this has the same switches found in the G-Wolves Fenrir ASIM. They are Omron D2LS21 switches. However, for some reason, they feel quite stiff to press in this mouse. For my unit, there's virtually no pre-travel and only a slight amount of post-travel, and in my opinion, the clicks are too stiff for this design. When using a fingertip grip style, I experienced significantly more strain compared to my Fenrir ASIM. The strain became especially apparent when rapidly aiming and clicking during gameplay. So for games that don't require frequent clicking, it's manageable. However, in those that do, it can be quite strenuous on the fingers. The issue is really more pronounced given the mouse's compact size, which makes aiming feel unstable when trying to spam on a stiffer click, you know what I mean? Now the side buttons are really good. You got minimal wobble and almost no pre or post travel. They have a firm feel and require a fair amount of force to click, which feels quite ideal for this mouse. But given the limited space on the side for your thumb, you are quite likely to be in contact with the side buttons more frequently. And with this design, the stiffness of the side buttons does help to minimize or prevent unintentional presses, which does improve overall usability. The scroll wheel experience is decent. Scrolling has just enough feedback between steps, and scroll clicking just takes a very moderate amount of force, which is good because no accidental scrolling when you're trying to click down. This is in fact the same scroll wheel design that is used on the Fenrir ASIM model. I wasn't too impressed with that one either. I felt like it could be nicer, but for now it's perfectly usable. Now here's a quick sound test to give you a better idea of how this mouse sounds. The stock skates are good. On cloth pads, the glide is fast and smooth with very low drag. Also, these dot skates are very small, so on softer pads, these will sink in. The workaround for that is to apply more dots or use the full-size skates found in the box. On glass pads, they work fine as well, and there's no issues that I encountered when I used low lift-off distance. It is very fast though, but these will wear down a lot quicker than hardened PTFE and UHMWPE skates that are designed for glass pad use. Just something to keep in mind. So like I said earlier, this one has a POR 3950 sensor. If you're worried about getting the POR 3395 version, just order directly from G-Wolves website. All current units should have the updated sensor. Connectivity wise, you have wireless and wired connectivity. Wireless goes up to 8K polling rate and wired is capped at 1000. Battery life isn't great with the high performance settings. If you use it at 4K or 8K with competitive mode on, the battery will drain pretty fast. But that's also because G-Wolves mice have a much smaller battery to save on the weight. At 1K polling rate with the competitive mode off and sensible sleep settings, the battery life can be pretty reasonable. It's nothing impressive, but acceptable. So the HTX Mini uses the web-based software which most G-Wolves mice use today, which is nice to see given how long this mouse has been around. You get DPI, polling rate, button mapping, sensor rotation, debound settings, presets, and competitive mode as well. Everything is on one page, which is very convenient, and so far I haven't had any deal-breaking issues when using it with my HTX Mini and all of the newer mice from G-Wolves so far. The first thing is the size, because this is genuinely the smallest mouse that I've ever used that takes the word mini seriously. With my 17.5 by 9 hands, anything other than a fingertip grip becomes uncomfortable very quickly. Claw grip technically works, but only for very short sessions, and I get almost no rear support unless I force it, but that hurts my hand over time. The forward sensor position combined with the extremely low weight and dot skates makes this mouse feel hypersensitive. Every small finger movement translates directly into the cursor movement. You can see there's almost no feeling of inertia here. It really feels like guiding a laser pointer than moving a traditional mouse. It sounds like a great thing, but this sensitivity can be a double-edged sword. When your grip is locked in, your aim feels incredibly free and fast. Micro adjustments are effortless and flicks feel instant, but your grip can feel unstable over time. Especially when using the fingertip grip style, the mouse can start to feel quite twitchy. This is also where the main click stiffness starts to matter more. Because the mouse is so light and the clicks require quite a bit of force. Spam clicking disrupts my aim quite a lot for this mouse. So what's the appeal of the HTX Mini? This mouse feels like an extreme performance tool for a very specific user. Suitable for someone with smaller hand size, uses an aggressive fingertip or claw-leaning grip style, and players who value speed and immediacy over comfort and stability. I gotta say that this mouse took me a long time to adjust to, even for my hand size. So if your hands are smaller than 17.5 by 9, you should find this one to be more comfortable than what I experienced. And if you're open to others in the HTX lineup, say you want to try the HTX shape, I would recommend the HTX Ultra 8K because that one has the latest SPDT mechanical switches, and I gotta say that the Ultra 8K brings the best out of the HTX shape in my opinion. At $159, this one is more expensive than the newer and faster on paper HTX Ultra 8K. Really, the HTX shape is already unique on its own, and shrinking it down to a mini size narrows the user base even more. But nevertheless, if you want to try it and save a bit of money, feel free to use my discount code Wasabi on their website at checkout to get any of their products cheaper, and that also goes to supporting my channel. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to support my channel, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.